What is going on, button pushers? Welcome to the channel. I have something beautiful with me here today, the Ronin S2. Let's talk about it.
ありがとうございました。
If you guys are new to the channel, my name is David. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed, and let's just jump straight into the video from my perspective as a previous Ronin S user. So straight out of the packaging, looking at the box, you already want to just take a picture of it because it is such a beautiful packaging. DJI did a really good job marketing this and showing it off as such a beautiful product. Going into it, we open it and we get this beautiful carbon fiber arm that comes with the gimbal, and it mimics the look of the Ronin 2, which seems to make it feel more professional. It makes us look a lot cooler than what the Ronin S had. So this is really nice, having the branded logo Ronin on that. So that's nice. Opening the other compartments of the Pro Combo package, which does come in at $999 USD compared to the original regular one that comes in at $849 USD. Let's keep going. Going through the rest of the Pro Combo carrying bag, we're gonna get things like this phone holder. We're gonna get the plates that we need, screws, a lot of different wires for HDMI and all the actual RSS and control options and whatnot. And of course, we're gonna get the focus motor and the image transmission system. So that's pretty much all you get in the package. So pulling it out, the thing I love about the Ronin S, the Ronin SC, the Ronin S2 and all that stuff is the quick setup. It is such an easy setup. It's a three-step thing. You start with the gimbal, put on the battery, and you put on the tripod mount. Done. 1, 2, 3, easy. Nice. Straight out of the carrying bag, after having set up, we can look at the body itself and notice a few distinguishing differences. Besides the red Ronin 2 mimicking arm from the Ronin S, we're gonna get a locking mechanism. We're gonna get a few new knobs. We're gonna get a new way to balance the camera and several ways to mount cameras. We're gonna get a balancing knob here, and that balancing knob is really important and really crucial to a lot of things, and it's actually a game changer for me because balancing this part right here is super annoying sometimes and it could slip and slide on accident. But now you have a micro adjusting knob that you can use to help you balance your camera a lot better, and I really like that. I really enjoy that. We're also getting some protective covers now. So if you can see, there is like a cast right here, a little grip, like a knee brace right here on the arm of the Ronin, and then we also get one around the place where you would see the focus motor before. I don't know what that's called, the accessory mounts, I guess. Now, one thing really cool about these accessory mounts is you're actually getting a NATO rail compatible mount rather than the Ronin S, where it was very designated towards DJI accessories and you had to find specific things. NATO rail can fit on this. We can mount accessories that we have already used for things like other cameras, my monitor mounts and whatnot. This is NATO rail friendly, so that is really amazing because it opens a wide variety of accessories that you can actually use and mount onto the RS2. As far as mounting DJI accessories like the Raven image transmission, it's super simple. They've actually installed a little thing at the bottom here where you can just slide in and out, and you can just pull the Raven image transmission off the gimbal if you wanted to or not. You just slide it in, boom, boom. Two-step, done. Taking a look from the operator side, we're gonna get a new LCD monitor as well as a little bit of a different button layout. Now, this is a little weird for me because I'm so used to the joystick being right in the middle and the two buttons being at the top for the mode and record. But it's slightly shifted, so everything is under the LCD screen and the joystick's a little bit to the left, so it's a little bit something I gotta get used to, but honestly not that big of an issue at all. I really like the new layout, especially because it has an LCD monitor. Now, you can actually control everything from this LCD monitor, and we're gonna get into that a little bit later. Let's talk about the ease of use though. Like I said before, I love 3-axis handheld gimbals because they're such an easy setup, so quick, so easy, and they're so easy to break down as well. 3 steps: gimbal, battery, stand. Done. From there, it's just balancing the camera, and DJI has made it so easy to balance on the Ronin S2, and there are just so many new things. There is a wider clearance in the back of the camera here, so I can do this without having to worry about it hitting the back for a lot of different cameras. There are heavier cameras that end up being back heavy, and there's not enough clearance for the camera to actually be mounted onto the gimbal, which is why we didn't see a lot heavier cameras on gimbals like this. The only thing I'd have to say is a downside to using a handheld gimbal is actually the roll axis. It's not as free as you would have on a regular gimbal because it is a little bit restricted in the way it moves. So you'd have to do a certain movement if you wanted to use the roll at all, and then it could get a little confusing. And the learning curve from using a regular gimbal to a handheld gimbal is a little weird. Practice makes perfect, so just keep practicing and you'll get used to it. Shooting with this is super amazing. I love how it smoothens your shot so well. The same with the Ronin S, but this just has so many more features packed into it. This is like the glorified handheld gimbal, but the thing about it is it's modular. You can change the mounts. You can change it and mount it to a car. You can mount it to a crane. You can do so much with it. You can mount it to a drone if you wanted to. That's what makes this gimbal so amazing, because it's not only a handheld gimbal, just like how the MoVi Pro isn't just a gimbal that you mount and hold in your hand. You can mount it on so many different things. And that is what makes this gimbal kind of revolutionary, because you can't have the MoVi Pro as a handheld gimbal, but this you can. Of course, there's things like payload and battery life, and this gets 12 hours of battery life, which is pretty good, and a payload of only 10 pounds, which is a little bit disappointing because I wish we could have gotten more, because this is kind of limiting for a lot of people, and how the main purpose of it was to bring it to a higher cinema world. 10 pounds may not be enough, because a lot of camera rigs out there could be up to 15 to 20 pounds, which is a little bad on DJI's part, but based on my experience with the Ronin S, I was able to push the payload a lot more because I was shooting on the 1DX2, the 1DX3, using a lot heavy rigs, and was still able to fly it really well. So maybe I'm able to push it, the Ronin S2, just as much to kind of get maybe a 12 to 15 pound payload. Who knows? Now let's get into those accessories and exactly what they're gonna do. And we're actually gonna include the monitor here, and I'm gonna count it as an accessory kind of, or a feature or something, who knows. Let's include the monitor though. First, let's talk about the focus motor. Everybody knows what the focus motor is, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on this, but there was actually a flaw that I found that came with the focus motor. Now, as you can see on here, actually, the focus motor and the 15mm rod are actually too short to match my 18 to 35 with the EF adapter attached. So if I didn't have the EF adapter, this would work very well. I've also encountered a problem where on my 1DX3, I'm not able to use the 18 to 35 either. And I don't think I'll be able to use any lens shooting on the 1DX3 unless it's a cinema lens. Why? Because there isn't enough clearance. The focus motor doesn't have a height adjustment. It only rides against the 15mm rod. Actually, that's not even a 15mm rod. It's not a 15mm rod. So you can't use something else like the 15mm rod I have on my shelf over there. It is a different one. So you might have to get an extension or a adjustable height thing, but hopefully DJI makes that for us so we don't have to go searching and hunting and wasting money and stuff, But if you're running any other lens, a shorter lens or a regular camera that has a low clearance, it would be a lot better. Definitely works, but there's that flaw and you have to be careful for that. So if you're coming in with a 1DX2, 1DX3 expecting to be able to use it with a regular lens like the 18 to 35, you're not going to be able to. I just want to let you know that now. You won't be able to, so you're gonna have to rely on that autofocus. The fact that the focus motor works, and it actually works with the Raven image transmission, and it works with a lot of other things, is super amazing, and I like what they did with the camera. They had the right idea, they did it really well, but there's just that single flaw that maybe they just slipped their mind or something, because who knows. The Raven Eye image transmission. This is so amazing. Like, I really like it. It's not just for monitoring a camera. Sure, you can have a focus monitor, you can have a small HD monitor or something for your camera, but the Raven image transmission acts as so much more. The Raven image transmission is basically something that attaches right here onto the Ronin S and gives you control on your phone. You can pull it up on your phone, you can see what's on the camera. Now, it does have to plug into the camera and then plug into the Ronin as well. If you plug it into the Ronin, you're able to control it from your phone. You can move it as a virtual joystick or use Force Mobile. Force Mobile is basically the Ronin will look wherever you move your phone. You control the gimbal with your phone. pretty sick, and you can control the speeds of it and everything straight from the phone, and you can just monitor, and it is really fun to use. Like, this is the most exciting thing I've done in a while for camera gear and whatnot, because I don't know, just messing around, throwing your gimbal around like that is really, really entertaining. And sometimes people have really hard time setting things up, but this is actually a super easy setup. You just gotta turn your Bluetooth off, connect it to the Wi-Fi from the Raven image transmission, and then bam, you're set. So now let's talk about the small monitor on the camera. The LCD screen right here is able to control everything: your joystick speed, your tracking speed, your movement speed, your active track, and everything. You can run it all from this tiny LCD screen. Now, this is something super new because we didn't get a screen on the Ronin S. Everything had to be done from the app. Now, of course, you can still use the app for this gimbal if you really want to, because, you know, sometimes this LCD screen does get super tiny and kind of annoying to use sometimes, I guess. You don't have to. And that is what I really, really like about that, because it's so convenient. It's so good to have it there because you can just do everything. You don't need to pull out your phone or worry about reconnecting on Bluetooth, because there's times on shoots where I had to connect my gimbal to Bluetooth and I had to wait there and stand there. It was really awkward. They're like, what's up? What's going on? And I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to connect my gimbal real quick. I gotta adjust some settings. But now I can do it straight from the gimbal. I don't have to worry about pulling my phone out or doing anything because I can just handle it straight from here. Super awesome. On top of that, the focus motor, I forgot to mention, actually works with the wheel right here in the front. We're getting a wheel to handle the focus rather than on the Ronin S when we had to have that little thing on the side or on the accessory mount where we use that to kind of control focus. But now we have this focus in the zoom right here, as well as the same button with a little bit of a different look, which feels a little bit better. Now let's talk about super smooth mode. Now I tested this out actually 3 different times. The first time I tried it out, it was bad. The stiffness of the gimbal was still wrong. It had a tilt stiffness of 8 and a pan swiftness of like 16, and that does not match the 1DX2 and the 1DX3. I redid it and it came out a lot better. But basically what super smooth is going to do for you is ease all of your movements. So rather than coming to a hard stop like that, it's just going to ease. So when it hits this endpoint, it's going to ease out into a slow, smooth movement, and that's going to do it for each movement it hits. So it's going to make it a lot smoother for you, and I do notice a slight difference, but leaving super smooth on is definitely going to help smoothen out your footage a lot more because, well, did some running tests and I did see a good difference. The active tracking. If you don't know how DJI's active track works, then you're missing out. I use their drones a ton of times and their active track is super amazing. So basically what active track is going to do for you is track a specific subject that you can draw a square around, and it uses Raven image transmission with the gimbal itself, and on your phone you can draw a square around any subject you want to track and the gimbal will track it, and you can control speeds between 1 and 30, and it is absolutely amazing. This is like really, really cool. Like, this gimbal has so much packed into it. Now the active track works really well and it tracks super far. I was able to track myself running fast at a speed of 30, or even just running far, running up to it, and it was able to keep up with me for a really long time. Of course, there are some ins and outs when I got way too close or when I walked too far, but for the most part, the active track did what it was intended to and did an amazing 10 out of 10 job. So the active track is super reliable when it comes down to it, and people could use this for filming themselves, or, you know, just keeping track of things without even having to monitor the camera. You know, they can just like leave this camera here, go run a second B cam, and just keep this here and it'll track super well, or even just use this as the B cam. Like, DJI is just opening up so many options for so many different things, especially for people like a one-man team. There's 2 things in this gimbal that I'm really waiting for, and that is the 3D focus thing, where pretty much you put on top of your camera and it detects how far the subject in front of you is, kind of like how focus peaking works. So it detects that through the Raven image transmission and works with the focus motor as well to focus the camera. So pretty much you can turn any camera ever, and any lens ever, into an autofocus lens, and that's pretty freaking insane. That's like top-notch technology. So hopefully it works out the way it's intended to, and we get a high-quality product that makes everything easier. hopefully. And the last thing I'm actually really waiting for the RS2 is the Hydra Alien car mount that Tilta is planning to make, because I don't know, I just love gear. I just love buying things. I love, you know, experimenting and trying new things out. So having that car mount is gonna change so much, because I feel like having a car mount is just gonna be super fun, you know? It's just gonna be like something that I can have at my disposal and shoot with the Ronin S2. Just slap that on there and I have a car mount. Boom, bang, done. It's something that I'm probably gonna buy for no reason, but just out of excitement. I like it. I really want it. Seems cool. Now, coming from the Ronin S and the MoVi Pro and the Ronin M, would I recommend the Ronin S2? Seriously, do you need to watch the video again? Because if you don't think that I would recommend this, then you need to watch the video again, because it is such an amazing gimbal. It has so many jam-packed features into this tiny little thing, and so much versatility, so much potential to become such an amazing tool for you. I don't know why you wouldn't even think that I'd recommend it. It's so amazing. It's like a freaking Ronin 2 and a Ronin S packed together, and like, they're just amazing. Yes, I'd recommend it. Like, ASAP. So I can't wait to play around with this thing myself and just get some good footage, try it out on different shoots, food, commercials, music videos, whatever it may be. I can't wait to take this on traveling with me and just experimenting and trying new things. I'll be back in a few months to give you guys a rundown of my opinions a few months from now, and just kind of how it's doing and how it's holding up. Anyways, make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave me a comment below. Let me know, how do you guys feel about the RS2? Are you guys gonna cop one, or are you guys thinking about getting the RSC2 instead? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed. Keep pushing buttons, guys. Have an amazing day, morning, night, wherever you're watching from, and I'll see you then. Peace. Check this out. Balances my Komodo. That's pretty freaking amazing. Now from here we run the auto tune. I'm just gonna calibrate right